I be jamming this.
You like that?
Boom, boom, boom. That's just in my head. Boom, 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 boom.
What it will, what it won't, what it is, what it ain't, all of those good things. It is another episode of the Ball Hog Sports Talk coming to you. So make sure that you have prepared yourself. If you have never been a part of the experience that is known as the Ball Hog Sports Talk, it is where sports, business, and entertainment collide. We describe it as where the managerial decisions of big finance collide with the most current storylines from sports and entertainment. The crew is in the building. We've got a great show lined up for you. This episode is going by the title of AAU. I gotta bring it up there, but you'll understand what that means.
Isn't that the Beatles?
AAU, maybe the Beatles. I don't know, one of them. Somebody did something like that, but we're gonna bring it to you in our own way. It is where sports, business, and entertainment collide. It's going to be a great show. So let's hop on in. From the Middle Coast. I realized last week, man, I didn't give you your proper introduction.
That's all right. I noticed it. I let it slide, man.
Listen back. I was like, wait a minute. I didn't give him his proper introduction.
I just hear. You're just taking me for granted. You know what I mean?
My
That's
bad.
part of my life.
And meanwhile, at the end of the show, I gave all my monikers. So
all of them. You start making stuff up. I'm Rodney Dangerfield of this show. I don't get any respect.
Feeling myself, man. So let me make sure I do not make that same mistake this week. For the Middle Coast, we have the man, the myth, the legend. Thou shalt be intergalactically known and respected as. When you say it with some respect, some reverence in your voice. He is the Big Flow Show. What's up, my brother?
That's so much better. You know what I'm saying? What's good, America? I remember I used to start y'all with that. What's good, America? What's good, the world? Now that they're following us in Barcelona, India, and all the places, Iran, I get political everywhere. Everywhere. Nah, man, what's good, man? I'm glad I can make it today. I know sometimes, life happens, people, and we have to miss a couple Fridays here and there. Nothing makes me happier. I'll be honest. When someone sends a text saying that y'all going today, it made me know that people waiting on the show. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. So shout out to everybody who watches every week and pays attention and comments and everything. Shout out to everybody.
Shout out to everybody. Really appreciate that. It is encouraging when we see people send us those text messages, man. And so being encouraged, being in this space of transformation, it's an interesting time, man. We have now tried to leap from winter to spring. I think we're officially there on the East Coast. And there are these other opportunities for transformation. Spring, baby. You've got us transforming ourselves into playoff teams in the NBA. There were teams that transformed themselves into champions, a la the Michigan Wolverines and the UCLA Bruins on the women's side. Transformation. And so this episode is going by the title of AAU. And you'll know what it means here in a second. Top storyline for the week. Anything that we're going to start off with the Ball Hall spotlight, something random. Anything random happened in sports this week, and we'll start there as an opening, and then I'll be right back. I get my light up. So anything random from sports this week that you want to discuss? On the spot, not really, but yes.
Not discussing the green room. So NCAA, I love Bobby. NCAA is coming out with a new rule. Looks like they're trying to work on some stuff. Donald Trump started it. Hate giving him the first bit, but trying to change this rule. Everyone's trying to get a hold of NIL. Everyone's trying to get a hold of the transfer portal and do some stuff. So they try to make a rule where it's going to be hard and fast 5 years. Not really sure where that's going to end up. Wasn't a major topic today because there's still so much unknown, but I'll be watching, we'll be reporting, and we'll definitely hear about it.
Perfect. My random, but meaningful storyline from this week happens to do with AAU. And so as you see, the title is called AAU, a play on the pronunciation. You hear AAU in a confrontational setting, right? AAU might say, like, if you hear somebody addressing you like that, you think that there might be some time for smoke. In the basketball setting, once you get to this part of the year, it's also time for smoke. So a lot of the high school teams are going to be playing for their first time this week, so we're wishing everyone luck. I am at this point where I'm at odds with how much money I done spent on AAU, man.
You gotta just forget about it.
Just chalk it up.
It's old stuff.
I'm going to try to do the numbers, but every weekend for the last I don't know how many years, this thing called AAU has taken my money. So I'm confrontational as I enter the final hole of back nine in this stuff. But it's just crazy how much money the parents have to spend on this. So that is my random story for the week. Sports related is protect your pockets, parents, and good luck out there, man, because this stuff is expensive. The AAU world also sets us up for this week's show. How many times have you seen in the AAU space things get so heated that the coaches go at it after the game? We've seen that. That's a thing that you would see. And while I appreciate that from the AAU space, these are volunteers. Some of these guys are never has been, so we live through the kids. When it comes to basketball, I was a never has been. Although I played well, nobody UNC, the Tar Heels never called me.
Let me get that. I was a never has been.
Never has been.
That's fantastic.
Never was.
That's fantastic.
It's a whole different level of having not achieved.
I'm not past my prime because I never had one. I never has been. I love that. I don't know if that's old, but that's new to me. I love it. Absolutely love that. I was a never.
But as such, sometimes we live through the kids and it gets heated. The coaches argue afterwards. But never in a million years did I think that we would see it at the grandest stage in the Final Four for the March Madness moniker to end this whole special space of March Madness in the Final Four. To see Gino and Don go at it was a little surreal. For those of you who did not see it, I guess Gino took issue, or at least he reported that he was taking issue with something that Don did. This happened a week ago today, so it's kind of old news, but we haven't discussed it. And until the Ball Hog Sports Talk group discusses it ain't got the right seasoning on it. Ain't got the right sauce.
Turning of the page.
So we shall turn the page after we discuss it.
Yes.
You see Gino, old Italian white man, going almost nose to nose at one point with let's say younger black woman and Don Staley. What do we see in that moment? I know what Gino said. I know what Don said. But initially, you were watching the game. You're watching the good old David and Goliath story, if you will. Not really. But this year, for this season, UConn's undefeated. They were the big bad sisters on the block getting dethroned. And then the storyline immediately goes left. It was AAU.
So what I thought about instantly, my daughter who plays for the Mighty Bulldogs of Alabama A&M, in their sport, when the coach calls a timeout to challenge a call, and they don't get it, the other team gets it, they don't get it. Their team goes, "Why you mad, coach? Why you mad, coach? Why you mad, coach?" I think it's terrible. I think it's absolutely terrible.
They throwing gas on the fire.
Throw gas when they don't get their call. I hate it in some ways. In some ways, it's awesome. But really, I felt like I wish my daughter's team would have been there when Gino would have done that. So they could have been like, "Why you mad, coach? Why you mad?" Because that's all it was. And at the end of the day, Gino, he even admitted at the end. I'm sure somebody pressured him into it, but
UConn probably forced him right.
It's the end of the game. You're getting pistol whipped after your team just looked like you're back, right? Because you just beat the hell out of who did you just beat the week before that? That was a good game.
They beat us.
They beat us.
They beat Notre Dame. They beat Notre Dame.
They beat
the old stuff.
That be old stuff. But they came back, and for him to come back and be mad about something. The fact that you could even remember that somebody didn't shake your hand at the beginning of the game, that means you were sitting there stewing for the last few
Well,
minutes.
he made us believe that she didn't shake his hand.
He's thinking about something. He's just mad.
Video evidence proved that that's a lie.
There was a time where he stood at half court. She had already probably felt like she fulfilled the need to shake the hand. He thinks that there's some ceremonial handshake. They did show a video of him standing at half court looking off, waiting, but she had already shaken his hand. Get over it, man. It don't matter. She already shook your hand and do whatever. But part of me makes it giggle. When you beat somebody so bad that they're mad and they want to fight, there's a certain satisfaction in that.
Oh yeah, man. There's a different type of satisfaction that comes.
Why you mad, coach? Why you mad, coach? He mad. So Don, she shouldn't have said she was gonna whoop his ass.
But that hot mic said everything it needed to say. That was North Philly Don Staley right there. That was not Don Staley of the Gamecocks. That was North Philly Don Staley. That hot mic, I will beat, and it was so clear.
I'll beat your ass.
I beat Gino ass.
Man, the best part though is when they showed Gino walking by himself to the locker room. He looked so lonely. He didn't have nobody with him. He had no entourage. You can't take calls, man. You gotta be able to do that disturb. What's going on? So you take calls. What's going on? But yeah, I thought that was much to be made of nothing. Luckily, no incident really happened. I just think you pissed off. It's great for the sport because we're talking about it a week later, and that wasn't even the championship. We're talking about what's going on. As long as nothing bad happened, if people get heated, they get embarrassed, they're mad. This one of those things.
This puts a stain on Gino's career.
No.
Because although Don is as North Philly as possible, and the hot mic caught her saying, "I'll beat Gino ass." Yep. Victim, intimidated, all the things that we want us to. She was not a damsel in distress. She's ready to throw them hands. While that is the case, and shout out to Don, shout out to North Philly, shout out to the Gamecocks for beating them at least to make it to the championship game. Mm-hmm. And still a man going toe-to-toe with a woman. And in most settings, right, you would say that is it. It's a strict liability crime. I don't need no other qualification. As a man arguing with a woman, I guess this would be the one qualifying setting because it's in a sports setting and it's two coaches. But it's still it didn't feel right.
Well,
it didn't feel right.
Don proved she proved that she was beyond just as equal. She proved that she was his superior at the time. She just put belt to ass. So at the time, maybe he forgot that it couldn't be her. It wasn't like he pushed her. He shook her hand and tried to scold her. She wasn't taking it. It all worked out. At the end of the day, he looked bad. She looked like the bigger person. All the video evidence, they showed her shake all the people's hands at the scores table, all the coaches, you can't lie in 2026 because we're on tape. Everybody's on tape.
What's up, Maya? For those of you who are in the live audience, like we ask humbly every week, please like, comment, share, tag a friend, tag a foe, tag anyone you know. And please subscribe to the YouTube channel and to the podcast on Spotify. One of our live, wonderful, more than just happens to be a live member. Let's call her an alumnus, if you will. My girl Maya in the building, but she says just shows disrespect towards Black women all the time. And I just pause and add that comment to say there did feel as though there was a dare I say a beehive moment where, I say beehive meaning Beyonce, but there was a moment there days after, or at least 12 hours within that window, the immediate reaction, not just among, the sports world, but among Black women, they had her back, and it was cool to see. And I think it led to an amazing viewership number on the championship side. Like once they advanced, there was this wave of support for Dawn that, she deserves it because she's a bad mamma jamma when it comes to coaching the game of basketball and elevating young ladies on the court and off the court. they probably were the not probably, absolutely were the underdogs. So to win that game was big. But there was a wave of support for Dawn that led to crazy numbers when it came to the championship. So shout out to Dawn. She won the week. If Gino lost the week, Dawn won the week because, then Dawn and USC gets they but two. She gave a belt and she took a belt in the championship against UCLA.
She's 1-1. She's 1-1.
1-1. She's 1-1 with the belt. But on the heels of losing by way of said belt to ass, she was the exact opposite. She was very professional. In the day that was between the Final Four and the championship, when all of the reporters were trying to get Dawn to say something that was more likened to North Philly, I beat Gino ass. She said, I'm not going to take the attention off of our young ladies for advancing. And she won the week in terms of class and sports. I'll give you last word on it. Gino versus Dawn. We got to see the imagery. Does this put a stain on Gino's career somewhat? Because Pat Summitt did talk about it.
I don't think
we've heard people talk about it. Candace, go ahead.
I don't think there's any surprise to people that he acted like this. I mean, before it was with Coach Staley, it was Coach Summitt. She hates his guts. I believe
Muff McGraw hates his guts. A lot of women.
Yeah, they hate his guts. So he's a lot of female coaches out there have been disrespected by him. So you've been anointed, Mrs. Coach Staley, that you are now the largest pain in his backside that take over the torch. So I think that's a good thing. I think you brought it out of them. When you get somebody to lose their composure, there's nothing more satisfying than that. When you dignify, you came out there, you win with class, and they lose their composure, it just makes him look like a jerk. But he already was a jerk. He's just so mad because he thought he was back. I thought he was back. I ain't gonna lie. After that Notre Dame game, I thought he was back. I said, damn, this dude, because he's been kind of irrelevant the last few years. He finally came back. I said, man, I'm about to come back. Nope. Go sit down. You don't get nobody. Hey, you don't get to come play in the final game. So that's fantastic. It's good to it's good to make people mad.
Hot and mad. Gino got that type of anger, like you could see it bubbling up through his neck.
Yeah.
But to then say she didn't shake his hand, to try to make it seem between the quarters, between the third and fourth quarter in the interview, he tried to blame the refs for missing calls. One of the calls he implied was so obvious because it resulted in one of my players' jerseys being ripped. And then the video evidence shows that's a lie. She indeed ripped her own jersey. I think there was some things in that exchange with Gino to also show just how quickly a narrative can be painted. So thank God for cameras, because while he did have to wait 3 minutes, how dare Gino have to wait 3 minutes for a handshake? There were some things that were questionable about his stance in that moment. So shout out to Dawn Staley, Coach Dawn Staley, for winning the week. Shout out to UCLA for winning the championship, though. That girl Betts is an amazing front court player. I know that she has dealt with some mental health issues, and so I think the celebration of her winning on a team with her sister, UCLA's first time being in that, like, there was a lot to celebrate for women's college basketball. So March Madness as a whole, great job, and we'll see who's it next year. There's a lot of parity though, man. These teams are getting better and better. I hate the lopsided wins in the Final Four because people tend to turn off, but this particular time they didn't. So Gino was good for business because of his shenanigans, because there was a beehive-like moment in support of Dawn Staley on the heels of Gino's shenanigans. The numbers look phenomenal, man. 10.9 million, the second most watched since 1994. Yeah, a lot of us tuned in support of Dawn Staley. So shout out. There was a championship amongst the men's in them two. That championship ended with the Wolverine way. That championship ended in the Wolverines taking home a championship the Wolverines being the first team to win with a starting 5 of transfers. The Wolverines having 2 of those transfers being from New Jersey. Yeah. I knew it. I knew you could not resist that look right there, man. That hate, baby.
But you know what's his last name? Kado, right? Which means gift. Why do I know that? Because he's Haitian.
I know. Because he's Haitian.
Haitian.
He's Haitian by way of Switzerland and New Jersey. Maybe. Who knows?
He just from New Jersey because ice don't be there. That's what
he figured out the spots.
We got the spots.
So tell me this, man. The Wolverine way having 5 starters that were transfers. All right. So you had Elliot Cadeau, who I just learned today by way of the Big Flow Show has to be Haitian.
Cosign. Hold on. We got a cosigner.
Haitian and Swedish.
She got a higher credit score than me, I guess. So she cosign from the area. So you got he both of ours. He's New Jersey and he's Haitian. Both
and he's Haitian.
Yeah, he's both of ours.
I'll take it. You had Namari Burnett, who transferred from Alabama.
Hold on. Where's he from?
Burnett? Burnett's Haitian too?
Chicago, baby.
Oh, Chicago. Okay, I'll take that.
He's been to a couple schools too.
Yeah,
Alabama is just where he was last.
The latest one is Alabama.
Yeah, a couple high school.
Maurice Johnson came from Illinois, fellow Big Tenner. You had Yaxel Lindenborg from UAB, and you had Ade Mara from UCLA. So what the Wolverines have done is open the door to a brand new chapter. The first team ever to win with 5 players that were all playing for a different team the previous year. 5 transfers. So in this episode of AAU, in the AAU space, you always know when one of them teams pulling a fast one. Right? In the AAU space, people are moving around quickly. Playing for this team, that team. In the AAU space, if I happen to be at a gym and I ain't rocking with nobody and they got an extra uniform, guess who I play for that day? I play for them. And the coach is going to be the whole time, hey, you, because you don't know my name. Here we are, and we have the fans of all of these prestigious blue blood programs. Michigan's just sort of outside of the blue blood. They're on the fringe. Blue blood programs. And the fans got to be like, hey, you, because I don't even know who they are at the beginning of the season. And now that way of life, that way of living, the Wolverine way, has ended in a championship. Will we ever see the old days of recruiting players, developing them, the fans having a real connection with the player? Because now as a junior, he's been here since freshman year. Or is it now, hey, you? As a fan, most of them did not know who these guys were. Although there's a whole recruiting cycle of transfers now, too.
I mean, at this point, look at Indiana. They won the football national championship at the average age of 23. I know a number of kids that are 18 on that team. So to get an average age of 23, you got some grown-ups on there, right? You've got some grown people, and they've been transferring, people crying foul. No, I don't think we're ever going to see the day where you're going to have more than a few homegrown people. The career records are safe. You know, the scoring records, rebound records for careers is safe at all universities. You might as well just
they accumulate. They allow you to add from different programs.
That's trash. That's trash. That's trash. That's trash. That's not. That should not. That's trash. That's
funny math, right?
You can bring your MAC.
You can bring your stats.
Your MAC rebounds and your D2 points. You can get D2 points too. Oh, come on, man.
I don't know if they give you D2. That might be the cutoff. I don't know. That should be the cutoff if it's not.
That's trash. That's trash. Although I will shameless plug, my son just won some academic award at his school.
Okay.
And I read it was 7 kids on the team, and I read the details of what it is, and it's you had to have an undergraduate GPA, a certain undergraduate GPA to win this award and be whatever. But he didn't. He didn't go to school undergraduate there. So,
I mean, he went to Northwestern, though, dog. I think that it
but
passes muster.
when they showed a book, right, of all the people that won this award, his name will be on there. But
Shout
he didn't
out.
go undergraduate.
Despite the fact he didn't.
But he didn't go to graduate there. So my thing about this, when I was thinking about these 5 people, I'm like, these kids aren't even going to be in the alumni association. Like they probably graduated from if they, I don't know what years they are, but I know Burnett's about 30 because he's way older than my son, and my son's 22. So I know he came from around here, and we used to have to go home. We couldn't stay and wait for his games to play because it was time for us to get back and get these kids some rest. So I don't know how old he's got to be, at least 26 years old, but they're not even part of the alumni association for these schools, but they got championship. So AAU is the best way to describe it. It has become that, but nobody cares. Everyone gets frustrated and everyone gets mad. I really don't like the way that everyone has tried to portray this problem as if if they look at the Michigans and they say, hey, 5 kids came here and they didn't stick it out. Poor Alabama, poor Illinois, poor UAB.
UNC and what's the other one? UCLA.
Yeah, poor them. They came and they developed these kids and they worked so hard and they just ran off and went. That's the narrative, and all these schools are back there kikiing and laughing and saying, "Yeah, go ahead, keep doing that." But when the real thing is that's the 1% that made that happen. That they went together. Now everyone wants to cry foul, but for everybody who left every Burnett that left Alabama for greener pastures, there's a kid that got told that he's time to go.
Yeah.
For everyone that comes in there, we got to go to the Iowa State, which had a DB meeting room. They came everyone together and told, hey, you guys are all cut. You're all going in the portal. We're going to get all new DBs for next year. That's the norm. That's what happens. That's the bulk. All these people aren't running into the portal. The storyline that you keep hearing, and I may be a one-person voice that's going to try to defeat it. The storyline you keep hearing is these kids are getting bad advice from these street agents, and they want to give you this thing, and some guy sitting there like this, saying that they can get you all this money in the portal, and they're getting stuck in the portal. Let you hear it here first if you haven't heard it here and heard it anywhere else. These people that are in the portal, that get stuck in the portal, did not go in the portal because the street agent told them they could get all this money. There may be a couple of them. When the street agent tells you can get some bread if you go in the portal, it's because he's talked to somebody who will give you some bread to go in the portal. What benefit does it have to get XYZ player that's not playing to go in the portal and not come back out of it and get the money? So they're twisting the story to make it seem like that. The kids that are in the portal that are not coming out, 90% of them are kids that weren't playing and just felt like they had to leave because they were being so mistreated. They felt unwelcome and they left. Now, some of those are getting bad advice because they didn't stay and get their degree, but those people are leaving. So if the other percentage of the ones are saying, hey, it's time for you to hit the portal, we can't afford you no more.
Well, I coined this the Wolverine way, because everything you just described sounds just so transactional. Whether it's induced, the transaction is induced by the athlete or the defensive back coach. Since we want all new defensive backs, wherever that was. You said Iowa State? That's messed up.
Mm-hmm. And that's just because I know one of the kids is DB. He probably did in the O-line room, the D-line room.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That just sounds so transactional. The reason that it's just weird to me, because Wolverine, like the character, right? The Wolverine way, I put it up there, is the exact opposite. The character himself, gruff, fiercely loyal, honorable loner, with a heart of gold hidden beneath that violent, antisocial exterior. We got the exact opposite. These days, by way of the transfer portal, which is only going to be worse now because we've stamped it. Now that the Wolverines have won a championship with not one, not two, not three, not four, but all 5 of the people that are on the court at tip-off, having been at different universities and in different programs the year before, it's only going to just snowball. Within the first 10 hours of the transfer portal being open for men's basketball, which opened the day after the championship. Championship was the 6th. On the 7th, it opened. There's over 1,000 people within 10 hours. It's probably closer to like 4,000 now that has been open for a few days. And my concern is, and you and I can agree to disagree in certain ways on it, but I just think when I look at it, this transfer portal, I look at this new way of operating and this concept of AAU. Here today, gone tomorrow. I'm on this team. I'm on that team. The transfer portal and all the things that come along with it represent this transactional move here, move there space that entire lifestyle, I would argue, it's going to hurt our kids long term. I don't know if our kids going to be able to raise kids. It takes a real commitment. It takes a real commitment to raise kids. At the risk of sounding old, that's my challenge with the transfer portal. We can agree to disagree. You think I'm old school on that, and I'm wrong, but I just don't know if we should be going all in here. I think there's got to be some loyalties that are spelled out and relationships that are protected by some form of loyalties, whatever that means, whether it be a multi-year contract. On both sides, the contract protects both the kid from getting that tap on the shoulder from the defensive back coach, and it protects the university after, whatever they're selling. They develop the kid and work with them. Then they don't have to risk them going in the portal, because there are a lot of teams. There are a lot of teams that are looking, whatever it's called, the gas face, when they looked up and saw a player that they had no expectation whatsoever to be in the portal, have hopped in the portal. The first day, first 10 hours.
The people, there's, for every side, every coin, there's another side, right? So there's always going to be, hey, these coaches are hired to win right now, right? If they can, first of all, they're not the villains right now. No one. That's why I'm on a crusade to make sure you know who the real villain is. Since they're not being painted as a villain, they can hide behind and let everybody look like they're the bad guys, right? So I'm gonna let you look like the bad guy, and you're the ones that's leaving. But they're taking full advantage of it. So I again, for what you're saying is you want to see them grow. But these players, I'm calling all sports the same at this point. But Michigan's a great example. Michigan hasn't won a championship in so long. I didn't know the name of the coach before the tournament. He came here.
I think he took FAU. He took another small school to the Final Four. Dusty May. He crushed it.
Yeah. So but here he is. He won a national championship with every transfer that came there come this year, or were they there before?
These were all first-year guys.
So
that starting 5. Transfers,
so you think their starting 5 all came this year, championship. Indiana, guy gets there 2 years after arriving on campus, championship. So now this is the standard that they're going to hold the coaches to, right? They're going to hold the coaches to. There's no reason why you need time. So now if we don't have time, I don't have time to worry about little Bobby Brown and little Reggie Farima trying to develop. That doesn't put food on my plate. I'm trying to get $1 million contract. I'm trying to do whatever. I think I have to go out and now win immediately, and that's not what the guys here. So it's a totally fluid thing. I think the only solution that you can have is if you give a guy a certain amount of NIL money, you're paying for his just like in the NFL or the NBA or any other professional sport, you have his rights, but you're giving him compensation for that. I think if you give him under a certain amount of money, he has free mobility. You know what I mean? So let's say that the salary cap is $10 million for basketball and there's 10 players or whatever. If you're giving a guy $200,000, that guy can do whatever he wants to do. If they're giving a guy $2 million out of that, you've hit the super max. It's got to be a collectively bargained agreement.
So some percentage of whatever your budget is.
And some of these are ideas I'm just pulling up now, but at the end of the day, you have to pay me for me being stuck here. But again, I go back to say that's not the problem, because There's other kids now. We talked about a kid that you had that was a basketball player that they went to cut his money. So should he be able to leave or should he be able to stay? Can they cut your money and you stay? I mean, if they're not, if every deal's I should say every deal. Most deals are 1-year deals. I think most deals are 1 year.
At this point, it's one year deals.
1 year, absolutely. And they're done with you.
On both sides.
Both sides. So everyone's being taken advantage of the thing that I want these kids to bleed the system for as much money as they can now before somebody steps in. But the fans that are a bunch of haters, because we're a nation of haters, right? You're getting the best product you ever seen, ever. You got Team Michigan that hasn't won a championship forever that won a championship. It's not the normal team. You got a UConn team that's still doing well. You got North Carolina that Duke, that are out of it, and they got to go regroup and try to find something. You got coaches that are been in the system for a while that have to regroup and find it. So this is the best sports have ever been. Football, you got a team like Indiana that's won. UCLA, I don't know what their NIL thing is, but this is the first basketball championship they've won ever. Sports women's. Sports are in a fantastic place. Texas A&M, they won volleyball. So now we've done all the 4 revenue sports. They won women's volleyball, first time I think they ever won a championship ever. That's great for the sport. We should celebrate that. But for some reason, we've got all these haters out there that are so mad. They're just mad. They just sit back mad. And what
do you think about? And I ask not only you, but for those of you who are watching, thank you again for your support. We ask you humbly, like we ask you every week, please like, comment, share. You can tag a friend, you can tag a foe, tag anyone that you know, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel and to the podcast on Spotify. I asked this question as you and I debated because I've been old school with the transfer portal, and I think that without some regulations applied quickly, do I want Donald Trump executive order level constraints? Hell no. But I mean, some sound business principled regulations on how to access and how to appropriately utilize the transfer portal. I feel like if you don't do that, it's underwhelming for the overall viability of the sport going forward. We got to create some.
Are you mixing NIL and transfer portal, or how are you?
I am. Well, the NIL as it is a carrot that people dangle to attract people to the transfer portal. So yes, in that way I am. But I just think that there's got to be some connectivity with the school, with the program, with the art of development, and that's just that. Maybe I'm old school in that. But what I will say is, by way of trying to debate this, is I'm afraid that holistically, if we just keep creating this AAU mentality, I'm moving here, I'm moving there, like you're going to end up raising your grandkids because your kids going to be too busy moving around to commit to anything. When the going gets tough, these kids move. That's what's happening. 1,000 kids in the first 10 hours.
I can't allow you to say that. I can't allow you to say it because you're doing the devil's work right now, and you're falling facing evidence. It's not. Stop saying that. Don't. These kids had exit interviews. Yeah. In the exit interview, their coach said either one of two things. I have no chance that you're never going to play next year. You're not going to have an opportunity. We're not going to evaluate you.
When they use the word never, that's a pretty powerful. You're never going to play here.
Never going to play.
That might encourage you to transfer.
Yeah. They're going to give you words. It's kind of like you going and telling your wife, listen, I'm about to be in these streets every night. I'm about to go do all these different things, whatever.
Can we change the analogy?
No, I got to use the analogy because sometimes people can offer you something where
I'm in these streets. I'm in these streets.
At the end of the day, she filed for divorce. You can say, you left me. You told me you was going to be in the streets. Like
every night.
Every night.
Every night, streets.
Yeah, every night is the streets.
Skirts and streets.
Yeah. I mean, you didn't give me an opportunity to say I had to leave. So you either get an offer like that, it's some of the exit interview. Nobody's saying in the exit interview, hey, look, man, you're going to have to get a little faster. You're going to work a little harder. We're going to give you an opportunity this spring to compete. But you know what? We really don't. Right now, you're behind a couple guys, but you're going to get all the reps that you can in practice in the spring and you have every chance to compete for a spot. That's not the conversation that they're having. And then most of them are saying, I'm hitting the portal, to hell with you. Some of that might be happening. But I would say the overwhelming majority is like either A, get in the portal, you have to go. We don't want you here. Or they're saying something so horrible about what's going on. You had some money, you were making 300 last year, we're cutting you down to 40 grand this year. What does that tell you? Right? You got to go. I mean, especially nowadays, some of these kids got payroll. They got to pay some people back at the house. So they're trying to figure out where they can go get this bread. So for the narrative to go, which I'm going to fight it every time until people block the show and don't want to hear it. Stop with the damn narrative of making it sound like these kids have commitment issues. That's not the facts. The fact of the matter is they're being pushed into the portal.
On average, you think that there's more pushing in the portal than kids trying to find
I'll bet my life savings on it.
Outlet.
And it's not even close. It's not even close.
Well,
people aren't just getting in the portal because they're chasing the money. That's such a small percentage of those people chasing dough. And the ones that are, damn it to you for trying to make those kids feel guilty for doing that. Fair.
So
damn you for that.
Nick Saban goes on a show and says, I'll stick with basketball. John Calipari says he worries about the transition from a kid that's making umpteen million and now is sticking his nose up at the first job offer for $65,000. You heard that exchange with John Calipari talking about, what happens with that transition and the potential. He didn't really call it mental health concerns, but the life skills, the challenge of that transition, having gone from whatever $1 million range they found themselves in for a marketplace as a defensive lineman, right? Going from that and then sticking your nose up when someone offers you $65,000.
Okay, so the solution, that's a real valid problem. I think that's going to be a crisis that we have to deal with later. But the solution is not don't pay them the money. That's not the solution. The solution is not we have this money that we're generating in this program, and Bobby Brown right now is got a market value of $2 million, but we don't want Bobby Brown to have a hard time expecting his first job at 60. So therefore, the solution is we're not going to give Bobby Brown said $2 million. We're just going to give him 60 to protect him. That is not the fucking solution. That is some BS dude out there who found a way to hustle the money. You want that to be a solution? You know what you should say? All right, Bobby's market value is $2 million, but we're going to structure that deal so that we're going to take 1.9 of that and put that in trust. And that trust is going to be built out for him. He's going to have it. It's going to be structured. It's going to pay him over to life. And that's the way to do it. I can get behind that, even though that'll never pass. In a free country, that'll never pass. They're going to tell you that you can't take someone's money and do that. That's something I can go. But when you try to say that the solution to future problems is not to give you the money right now, hell with you. I'm not saying it. That's someone who wants to give.
And there's a lot of coaches. There's a lot of coaches that went from having a whole bunch of money to unemployed. We don't worry about them, and they certainly have. Yeah. I thought that was BS. I thought that was BS, but it's interesting that Calipari tried to spin it that way, right? That he tried to spin it that way in the sense that is a legitimate concern, though. Now, if the universities, if the institutions themselves get a part of the administrative part or the administrative role in terms of how you give the money to the kids and how you have administrative oversight to said money, then great. But they would never do that. They would never do that. So Cal's got a point. It's just
now we're getting back to we care. You got it. When you hear the words that sound as if they care, that's when you should shut your ears off because they don't care. They care.
I don't think the system cares. I'm talking personally. I care. I wasn't saying that the system cares.
And Cal probably don't care either. He's just saying what he can say because he didn't win a championship. He's trying to find a problem, stay relevant. They're all look, the scorpion and the frog, right? We got all these scorpions out there, and just don't be the frog. Don't be surprised at what they're trying to say. Get as much money as you can. Hopefully, you have the structure around you. Hopefully, you have the family around you that's going to tell you what you should do with the money so that you don't end up in a bad situation, keep you grounded as much as possible. But if you don't, that's the way the world works, man. Sometimes people win lotto and they go broke. Sometimes people make a lot of money in corporate America and start sniffing it up their nose. Sometimes they go to Coldplay concerts and they put their hands on people's wives that don't necessarily belong to them, and they trick that off. People trick money off every day in this
Every
country.
day.
That's part of the country. Everybody tricking money off. So,
my man Malcolm Johnson, what's up? Malcolm is in the building. He made a good point. He's like, imagine he said in the comments that, how would my NFL career have gone if I were able to essentially create these one-year deals and enter free agency every season? That because you always strike while the iron's hot. That's what these players are doing. So I'm not mad at it from a free market enterprise standpoint. I love it. From a pure standpoint, because my best friends are still the guys that I played with. I still take opportunities that are connected, whether directly or indirectly, to my affiliation with Notre Dame. I still think about some of the challenges that I had in terms of just getting through adversity at Notre Dame, on that campus, on that team. I still use that framework to get me through challenges to this day. And that's the purest in me. I'm not naive enough to think we should go back to a time where the players have no leverage at all and can't transfer. And
let me add to Malk.
Go ahead.
I was to add to Malk's example while you say that. Just I wanted to add. Imagine if you had your NFL career like that, and your NFL career had a cap of 5 years, and then you got to leave. You're out. Put that into your evaluation too.
Well, they ain't capped 5 years. They had 8 now, man. They had 8 years at this point. But no,
I thought about the other day. That was crazy. Some dude get a contract. You almost come up. If you're on your 5th year, you get a contract, and you get, like, let's say, a ripped pectoral muscle, something that's going to heal up nice, but you get that bread and you can bet them, you can chew them back again. It's almost like, you know what I'm saying? Say, hold on, I ain't going to play this year. I got to get one more year of eligibility. Let me get this medical and come back and get one more.
I wanted to give a shout out to everybody that tuned in. This particular championship was the most viewed since 2019. It's up 23%. The number was up 23%. It peaked at 20.4 million. It was an average of 18.3 million. And it was up 23% from 2024, up 7% from 2025. And the Final Four was also up. The average was 14.2 million, which is up 11% from 2024. Moral of the story is people are tuning in. While I have teased this whole concept of fans not even knowing who's on the court because they all transferred. Hey, you, whoever you are, truth be told, it has not diluted people's affinity and probability that they will tune in. Now, there's this whole conversation about, do people tune in because they want to watch the basketball? Or do people tune in because of the wagers connected to basketball? And as the legal sporting,
both can be true.
Both could be true, but I mean, I think people are tuning in because they've got action in the game. The predictive markets allow you
action in the game, or they have their brackets, so they want to go see the brackets.
Yeah, fair.
Who's going to win? It's a Monday
night. By then, brackets are busted. Championship brackets busted. Everybody answer that question for us. Those who are watching the live recording of the Ball Hog Sports Talk, let us know. Why did you watch the game, and what was your purpose? You just like good basketball? Did you have a little wager on the game? Were you watching to see someone lose, or were you watching to see someone win? You just watching good basketball? Why did you watch the game? Because a lot of people did, and the most since 2019. So shout out to the product that is March Madness as they continue to put something on the floor that people are entertained enough to watch. Shout out to them. At the end of the day, it's sports, business, and entertainment. I did want to, because the men's portal opened on the 6th of April. The women's portal opened on the 5th of April. And we've been keeping just the flow of it, trying to do trackers. You realize now, man, that they have, in this transfer portal space, they have rankings of players as they enter the portal. real-time rankings. They are now trying to do a combine for transfer portal entries. You have your own combine so people can come watch.
That's amazing to me.
This is the new way.
Why didn't we think of that?
Transient place now.
Why didn't we think of that? That's going to be a hit. A transfer portal combine?
A transfer portal combine. But even the rankings in real time. So I get in. I got to look at where I'm going to repopulate. I just got in. I'm going to see what this ranking is.
It's a quick marketplace. That transfer portal you get in, that's a quick marketplace. They snatching spots up. People come in here. They offer you $200,000. If you don't say yes right now, by the time you call back, it's $175. Someone had to borrow $25 from you to go.
These young people don't have no relationships, man. The heck with no education, because that ship sailed a long time ago.
We're in a swipe right, swipe left.
They're not gonna have any relationships. How they going? Where is the next version of the Ball Hawk Sports Talk, where two not only former highly recruited athletes that played on the biggest stage at Notre Dame, and now we both have made a business of the representation side at some point. We both have raised student athletes. We both have coached. But the thing that connects us is that we both graduated from Notre Dame. Next generation ain't gonna have this. They just go
how many alma maters does your dad have? My dad went to 6 different schools. How many alma maters does your dad have? My dad only went to 2. You know what I mean? Like, how many schools you go to?
Hey, man, they're going to have to do I
had to stop putting hats up there, man. They wouldn't last long enough.
It's going to be a patchwork cloth of all the schools you went to. You're going to have one of them things. You got to embroider it.
Yep, I went there once. I was there
at this point. What are we doing? But that's the new Wolverine way. Mm-hmm. Get paid. Young people get paid. There's a song. There's a different version, but same message. Get paid. Young people get paid. But please cherish those relationships at the same time. I'm old school, but man, them relationships are meaningful. Let's go home with these next two, bro. I gotta talk about it. I didn't want to talk about it, but I have to talk about it. I guess there's a theory out there. There are rumors, if you will, that the word vrabel is a verb.
Ooh.
And that is the truth of the matter when it comes to Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel is becoming a verb this week. And when you say don't Vrabel, it basically means don't get caught in some bug. I hope it's not true. I just saw Mike Vrabel in an airport about, let's call it whatever, 3 weeks ago.
Who was he with?
With himself.
Who was he with?
With himself. But he was so down to earth. He was cool. I was like, yo, man, you played with such and such. It was a cool exchange. So I sent my mans a text, you know what I mean? Yo, I seen your boy Vrabel, Malcolm, actually, Johnson, who was at least earlier part of the live viewer audience. So I sent him a text. They played together. I was like, yo, your man was cool, real approachable. So when someone is that cool and down to earth, when I have these moments where we got to at least address the allegations that are out there, I hate to do it. But, and you can attest, I really didn't want to talk about this.
But here we go. But here we go.
Hey, you! If you are somebody as famous as Mike Vrabel, if you are as famous and have such a platform such as ESPN, as a Diana Rossini, you can't go somewhere and expect any privacy. You can't go with any expectation that no one's going to recognize you. Because just like this 49-year-old man with 1.5 bad knees, with very little athletic prowess left other than being able to dunk a basketball.
You still do have half a good knee.
Half a good knee is better than some. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to take it.
I got 2 bad knees. I'm rubbing my knee as we speak. My
The
knee
safe
sore.
word knee
My
make my
knee
knee
is sore from podcasting.
We're gonna get you some workers' comp, dog. But if my old decrepit behind recognize you, everybody who is anybody who really watches football, whether they noticed you from Ohio State,
you just were in the Super Bowl,
recognized you from a player, recognized you on any of the teams that you have coached on, or the fact that you just were in a Super Bowl.
You probably should have just been tricking at Tennessee when you were losing. Like, you know what I'm saying? You winning. And some of the pictures were all out in the open and real, like, affectionate. Like, this dude's taking pictures. Do you not know what an umbrella is or something? You can't get under an umbrella, a shadow?
Man, just lazy. Just lazy. If you're going to do that, man, I respect. Maya says, y'all never know about my dirt. I think that's a better approach. You can't be all out there, man. AAU, ain't you? AAU, you are Mike Vrabel. AAU, you're Diana Rossini. AAU guys are together holding hands on a balcony of some sort where cameras are everywhere. AAU, dummy, don't be that dumb. If indeed this is something that is improper, treat it as such. Because you got now, both of y'all got your spouses, nose all in the dirt. I hope it's not true because Mike Vrabel was a real cool gentleman in that airport, and he didn't need to be. And I hope it's not true. I don't know Diana Rossini, but for her husband's sake, as much as he's taken some really cheap shots on camera, she says some interesting things about her husband. For his sake, I'm hoping it's not true. But man, Vrabel is now a verb.
When this is all over, Sharon Moore, I need you to take a master class. You notice you haven't seen Vrabel. There was no police involved. He didn't go to nobody's house, kicking anybody's door, waving the 4-4. He didn't hold a butter knife to his own neck, threatening to kill himself.
Kicking the door to the 4-4.
You know what I'm saying? He shut up. I guarantee you one thing for sure. Mike Vrabel will be coaching in the first game. He's going to be at the NFL draft, and he's going to be quiet. He's not going to give any interviews. He's going to shut up. So everybody who gets mad about what happened to Sharon Moore, it's the aftermath. Sharon, you could be coaching. You could be on the staff. Imagine that what you guys could have talked about in the interview. You could be on the staff right now with the Patriots. But you want to go over there and, okay, I went too far. It's not Sharon Moore's day. It's Vrabel's day. I'm just saying, sometimes you just got to shut up.
No when to hold up.
Just shut up.
Yeah, man. So Mike Vrabel, Diana Rossini, I hope that these allegations are false. I hope that the pictures are indeed, it ain't what it looked like. Sometimes it really ain't what it looked like.
Just give it, she got to come out with an interview and say, nah, look at all this. This is all the interview is getting. Talk about the life.
Do you think that compromises her integrity, both of their integrity from a marital standpoint? But you think there's supposed to be some objectivity to reporting and journalism. And now does all coverage have a stain on it if indeed there's a personal relationship? I hope this is like off.
I believe Vrabel's he's going to be writing checks, most likely, because she's humiliated now. I believe that her husband, whatever her name was, I forgot it already.
Diana Rossini?
Diana Rossini's I'm assuming her husband's a cuck, and that he will
You can't say that on this show, bro.
It's not a swear word.
Family show. It's the family show. We're in the other category. We're in the family category.
Okay. A cuckold. But I think he's not going anywhere. But Vrabel's probably by himself now. He's not. But anyway, I know Vrabel probably got a summer house, and that's where you could find him.
Oh yeah, he definitely.
He's not at the house.
Angel Reese is going dreaming, man. She's going to Atlanta Dream, Chicago. She got up out of there. You know me. Anybody and everybody needs to be taking a flight up out of Chicago. I don't know who would live there. My bad. You think Angel Reese, she done went dreaming. And Atlanta Dream, she has what is a pretty good campaign with Victoria's Secret. has its own dream line. It might be something here. Look, Angel Reese, just call me, man. I don't know what your people working up over there. But I can see some. I can understand why you would go to the Atlanta Dream with this big Victoria's Secrets campaign. Angel Reese, you know I'm always Angel Reese enthusiast, but I think this might be a great move for her.
I think Angel Reese is more, and this isn't a shot at her basketball skills, but she's more of a celebrity off the court than on the court. And I think that Atlanta is going to allow her to do more with that. I don't think Chicago, if your name isn't Michael Jordan, it's kind of hard. Like, this is a hard town. D-Rose, it's real hard to make a mark. The average Chicago person can't tell you the starting five for the Bulls right now because we're not winning. So it's a tough place to make it. I think because of her style and her,
it's
her
cold and y'all kind of rude and y'all kind of gangster with it.
What kind of bear? You're going too far. You're starting.
Y'all do
two shot minimum, a 2-shot maximum. You can't.
My bad. I thought this was just open the door about Chicago Day.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, I think that she's in a better place where you can market yourself as the celebrity as opposed to just basketball. And again, it's not a shot at her basketball, but I think Atlanta is going to be a better market for her and who she is.
It's like Hollywood down there now.
Yeah, if Angel Reese is at the club in Chicago, nobody cares.
Bad.
She's had to wait in line. Nah, it's not like that here.
6'3", 6'4", beautiful woman wearing heels. So she's probably about 6'8" in the heels.
Much better in Atlanta. That's going to be, first of all, it's warmer, so you can show some of the big
family show.
Earmuffs. Yes. Your long fingernails. I don't know. But she can go out there. She's going to vibe. She's going to benefit from being in that market more than she benefits from being in Chicago. That's just my thought. I don't know.
Church, Atlanta strikes again, man. Those who are all the way in it, the entertainment space, Atlanta's a good place to be. So Angel Reese, I think, is going to be in good company. Shout out to her. Shout out to the fact that it was big news. So WNBA, keep coming along. Our girl Jackie Young just re-signed with the Aces for $1.19 million. So they were able to keep their pieces together. So Aces seem to be maintaining its dominance with her and Asia Wilson together. But WNBA, keep at it. It's been a cool show. I don't know why just overnight I've gotten so old. This whole AAU, that's how they pronounce it down in Baltimore. AAU. So this particular show entitled AAU, inspired by the mentality that is the AAU mentality. People don't stay long. They move around. They do what's best for them. And it is now, I think, completely been embraced in the college sports space. Hence, the transfer portal is booming. I'm talking about booming. That transfer portal, booming. In less than a week's time, it's already booming. And so, but that's where we are with the business of this collegiate sport. It is no longer an amateur. It is a modified professional. So we'll continue to appreciate the new frontier of sport. And for all of you who will be engaged in the real AAU, as you, especially the youth grassroots players that are now going into the high school space, I encourage you to be able to identify what's most important to AAU. All right. You have to identify what's most important to you in this new chapter of your life of recruiting, and make sure you're true to who you are, because you got to have some authenticity. You don't want someone to recruit you that it's just not a match. Getting the offers is great, but you want to be somewhere that there's a match. And if that works out, and outside of all of the revenue sharing and NIL and entering or exiting the transfer portal, there are friendships to be made in the collegiate level. So you want to be a place that attracts people like you. So you find people like you and establish relationships for the long term. That's the grandpa view of sports. Does that still exist? Or I'm off my rocker, Big Flo. I think it still exists.
Like Cracker Barrel, you off your rocker?
Off my rocker. In the meantime, get paid. Young people get paid. Final words, man. We kind of did the ball hog spotlight in the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
Anything you want to go home with before we get out of here, Big Flow Show?
No, just I'm happy spring is coming. Spring is coming. We got a couple weeks before the NFL draft. Hearing good stories about possible landing spaces for Jeremiah Love. I'd like to see him land somewhere great. You want to follow these college players into the NFL and see them do great things. I know we talked about a little bit briefly LeBron talking about taking shots at Memphis and saying they should move to Nashville.
Let's do the lightning round version. Was LeBron wrong for saying that? And LeBron, let me make sure I give credit where credit is due. Bronny, the other LeBron, threw a pass in the front court on a fast break to the other LeBron, the older version. That LeBron, the older one, made a dunk. And in that moment, they became the first ever duo in NBA history. Son to father assist. Shout out to them.
Fantabulous. I think that's something we should open the show with. But I think that to stay away from some of the cultural ramifications of leaving a city that's probably that's more economically depressed and probably would benefit more and blah blah blah. To take it away and just say general terms, I think if it's a good fit for Memphis to move to Nashville. Nashville already has football. They've got hockey. They've got a booming tourist destination. People go there. I think it'd be a great fit. From what I understand, the numbers aren't very great in Memphis. There's no other professional sports there to build off of. Kind of like a restaurant. When you put a restaurant in an area and 2 or 3 restaurants go around it, that helps everybody, right? And I look at that the same thing with professional sports. If I'm looking at a town that I want to go visit or live in, and I say, man, they got a professional basketball team, they got a hockey team, they got a baseball team, they've got music, they got a downtown or whatever. That makes the town more attractive, and I think it helps the basketball team. Memphis doesn't really have anything except for University of Memphis, and it's unfortunately known for crime. A couple rappers that we probably would like, but I don't really think it's there. Honestly, I think Nashville would be just a logical move for them to go move to. If
in Memphis, they built a sports complex. That's where the first session for the junior EYBL was for AAU. But when I'm passing from my hotel to the sports complex, it said, "Welcome to Orange Mound." You know who from Orange Mound now?
8-Ball MJG.
8-Ball MJG. It was nostalgic. My son's looking at me like, what? Because now I'm bumping 8-Ball MJG. It's like, they from Orange Mound. It was an old man moment.
You ever front me with a lame lie about my back? My phone.
8-Ball MJG. But
lay it down. My theme song in college. Lay it down.
LeBron took a lot of heat for that. Maybe because of the whole Shelby Motel influence for the shoes and the connection to Memphis and so forth. I don't know exactly why he took so much heat for that, other than it being LeBron. But he took a lot of heat from that. And black folk who are from Memphis probably didn't like LeBron anyway. But those who, let's say there's a few that were objective, didn't really like the fact that LeBron said that. I didn't see it as a black-white thing. I saw it as LeBron been rich for a long time. And so, yeah, he expect a certain accommodation when it comes to his hotels. Right? And it is what it is. So, I would like Memphis to celebrate Orange Mound. I don't care about whether the team or not. But we'll see. That's a good way to go home right there. I forgot LeBron did that.
I'm not going to let you forget about LeBron.
I forgot he did that. LeBron. And he got the assist from his son. So a great week, man. This has been the AAU episode of the Ball Hog Sports Talk. For those who did follow this journey in the live recording, we thank you. We ask you humbly, please like, comment, share, tag a friend, tag a foe, tag anyone that you know, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel and our podcast on Spotify. We covered a lot today. We covered it the only way we know how. It's rough, rugged, and raw. This is the intersection of sports, business, entertainment, specifically the Ball Hog Sports Talk. is where the managerial decisions of big finance intersect with the weekly storylines of sports and entertainment. If you had to describe it in a pop culture way, you would probably describe it as, this is where show me the money meets just give me the damn ball. Another great week as we enter into the spring. Enjoy all the new baseball. Enjoy the transition to NBA playoff basketball. Enjoy those who are NHL fans as we transition into playoffs. Enjoy getting ready for the NFL draft. Enjoy your weekend. I'm your boy, B. Brown, ESQ, a.k.a. the Ball Hog, a.k.a. the Mouth of the South, a.k.a. Mr. Excessive Celebration, a.k.a. Breezy, a.k.a. Councilman Bobby, a.k.a. Coach Bobby, Councilman Brown, Coach Bobby. I messed him up. It's been a great show, man. Shout out to the Wolverines for their championship. Shout out to the UCLA Bruins for the women's championship. Been a phenomenal show. Thank you. We'll see you next week. We is